That evening, a black man, one of the city's finest chefs, simply wanted to enjoy dinner at a new, upscale restaurant, but he was met with cold contempt. The restaurant owner pointed him to the door solely because of his skin color, displaying a cruelty Andrew had never encountered in his entire career. News of this humiliation quickly spread online, and the restaurant found itself at the center of a scandal that changed everything. But what happened next would shock even the most cynical observers. Let's start from the beginning. Andrew Lewis, a successful chef, decides to spend an evening at Bakersfield, a new restaurant that has recently opened in a prestigious area of the city. The venue has quickly become popular among the city's elite, and Andrew, with his passion for culinary discoveries, had long wanted to try the menu that everyone was talking about. Andrew enters the restaurant, and a waiter leads him to his reserved table. However, before he even has a chance to sit down, Martin Baker, the owner of the restaurant, appears. Middle-aged with a smug smile, Martin scrutinizes Andrew closely, clearly assessing his appearance. Without a hint of hesitation, he declares loudly, "I'm sorry, but we can't serve you. We're hosting a dinner for invited guests, and I don't see your name on the list." Andrew, accustomed to this kind of treatment, calmly takes out his reservation confirmation and shows it to Martin, avoiding any confrontation. But instead of apologizing, Martin simply smirks, looking at Andrew with open disdain. "You see, Mr. Lewis, we strive to maintain a certain level of clientele. I'm sure somewhere downtown can offer you a more suitable dinner," he says, pretending it's merely a friendly suggestion. Andrew gives a brief nod, realizing there's no point in arguing. Bidding farewell to the waiter, he leaves the restaurant under the gaze of patrons who try to hide the fact that they're listening. A couple at a nearby table exchange disapproving looks, whispering about the unacceptable behavior they just witnessed, but no one steps in. When Andrew steps outside, he feels a mix of emotions, ranging from outrage to determination. This incident becomes a turning point for him, a moment when he decides not to let people like this dictate his life. That very evening, he writes a post on social media, describing what happened and calling for respect and tolerance. Soon, his story goes viral, gathering tens of thousands of reactions and placing Bakersfield under intense public scrutiny. Andrew's story quickly spread across social media, with his post amassing hundreds of thousands of likes and shares. People left comments expressing both support and outrage. Many followers shared their own experiences of discrimination, and the conversation rapidly expanded beyond the culinary world, turning into a broader discussion about bias and inequality in elite establishments. Andrew received a flood of messages from journalists and bloggers eager to cover the story. Before long, local news channels and popular food and culture publications began discussing the incident at Bakersfield. Major outlets such as Food and City and Gourmet Guide reported on the event, emphasizing that in an industry built on high standards, there's no room for setting barriers based on skin color. The impact of the scandal proved devastating for Bakersfield. Locals started canceling reservations en masse, and online reviews flooded with criticism. One prominent restaurant critic, who had previously left a positive review, publicly retracted his endorsement, stating that the establishment should reassess its policies and attitude toward its patrons. The restaurant's online rating plummeted, and many regular customers openly declared they would no longer visit. Andrew was approached by representatives from several organizations focused on combating racial discrimination, offering him legal and moral support. Some saw this situation as an important precedent to address discrimination in elite establishments and encouraged Andrew to use his case to advocate for social change. Amidst all of this, Andrew remained calm and composed despite the swirling emotions around him. He expressed gratitude for the support but declined interviews, striving not to fuel the conflict further. Internally, however, he felt an immense wave of solidarity that bolstered his strength and confidence. Meanwhile, Martin Baker tried to manage the crisis by turning to a PR agency to develop a damage control strategy. Neutral statements of misunderstanding and regret were issued on behalf of the restaurant, but they only fueled public dissatisfaction, coming across as insincere and baseless. Eventually, it became clear that the restaurant's reputation was so tarnished that its future was at serious risk. At this point, one of the investors, impressed by Andrew's talent and resilience, reached out to him with a proposal for a meeting. A few weeks after the scandal, Andrew receives an invitation from David Hunt, a prominent investor interested in a new project. David had been following Andrew's career for some time, admiring his innovative approach to cuisine and his ability to inspire audiences. However, the proposal he makes is unexpected, even for Andrew. Meeting at a cozy cafe, David proposes that Andrew become the head chef and face of a new restaurant at the very location of Bakersfield. He explains that after the scandal involving Martin Baker, the restaurant lost almost all its investors and clients, and the business is on the brink of bankruptcy. David has acquired the restaurant at a bargain price and wants to completely overhaul it, transforming it into a place that is accessible and open to all walks of life. In his vision, the establishment should stand as a symbol of inclusivity and equality, and he sees Andrew as the ideal leader to bring this new philosophy to life and develop a unique menu. As Andrew considers the offer, he feels mixed emotions. On one hand, it's an opportunity not only to take on a significant role, but to transform a venue that had come to symbolize prejudice. On the other, he realizes the decision will provoke a strong and possibly controversial reaction from his fans and the public. However, after careful thought, Andrew decides to accept the offer, seeing it as a chance to show that true professionalism and respect can overcome any bias. David and Andrew finalize the agreement. Soon after, Andrew begins implementing sweeping changes. He starts with the staff, inviting chefs and servers from diverse backgrounds to form a team that reflects the new restaurant's philosophy. He develops a fresh menu, focusing on a fusion of traditional recipes with innovative techniques, featuring dishes from various world cuisines as a celebration of unity and openness. As they prepare for the grand opening, news begins circulating in the press. Andrew Lewis, the renowned chef and advocate for justice, will be the new face and head chef at the former Bakersfield location. The announcement sparks a lively public debate, with reactions ranging from enthusiastic support to skeptical comments. However, the majority of the public supports Andrew, viewing this move as a symbol of resilience and strength. When Martin Baker learns that his former restaurant will now be led by the very person he once publicly humiliated, he is visibly unsettled. It's a bitter realization that the man he deemed unworthy is now poised to elevate the restaurant to new heights. The day of the grand opening arrives, and the newly rebranded restaurant now bears the name Unity. Andrew has meticulously prepared for this moment. The space is decorated in a modern style with elements that celebrate cultural diversity, and the walls are adorned with artwork by local artists that reflect the richness and variety of different cultures. Guests are greeted by the reformed team of servers and chefs, professionals from various countries, united by the ideals of inclusivity and mutual respect. Dozens of journalists, critics, and bloggers attend the opening. Critics immediately notice that Unity is different from typical high-end establishments. The atmosphere is warmer and more democratic, and the menu embodies Andrew's philosophy. He has included dishes from around the world, enhanced with his personal touches. Every detail in the menu and decor emphasizes the idea that all cultures and people deserve equal respect. From the opening moments, Andrew receives numerous congratulations and positive reviews. Journalists record segments, interview guests, and speak with Andrew himself, who emphasizes that Unity was created for everyone who values diversity and culture. His words receive applause from the crowd, many of whom had followed his story and supported his fight for justice. Unexpectedly, Martin Baker, the former owner of Bakersfield, appears among the guests. Keeping a neutral expression, he observes the scene. Some guests recognize him, adding a layer of tension to the event. Martin approaches Andrew, seemingly intending to speak with him, but he doesn't get the chance. A journalist approaches and begins interviewing Andrew, leaving Martin sidelined. The former restaurant owner, now uncomfortable, realizes he is overshadowed by his one-time unwelcome guest. In the weeks following the opening, Unity quickly gains popularity. Reviewers publish glowing articles, praising not only Andrew's culinary expertise, but also his groundbreaking approach to creating a unique, inclusive space. Unity becomes a symbol of resistance against prejudice and a beacon of unity, with Andrew's story inspiring other entrepreneurs to create inclusive environments. At a press conference, Andrew reflects on his journey. This place was built to prove that talent, respect, and unity always prevail. I hope that everyone here feels like part of something greater. This statement becomes famous, capturing Andrew's moral victory as his resilience and professionalism turn humiliation into triumph.